Today we're talking about what happens when the INFJ finally accepts their mind-blowing nature. When the INFJ gets to a place where they recognize this is who I am and I'm not going to change for anybody else, things happen that we never thought possible before. The main thing that I want to talk to you about today is this feeling of I have to be like others. You know, INFJs are, doing everything their own way. They don't really care about how others view them. But we have to be honest with ourselves. There are still parts of us that wonder, why does it seem that everybody else is so happy and they're so invested in the social structure and culture that we live in, and we sort of feel like outsiders looking in? What has to change for me to feel like them? What we do very often is that we try to play the roles that they're playing. So we look at people living their lives, for example, liking other people's pictures all the time and being all invested in some kind of social structures or whatever it may be. And we try to do what others are doing until we understand I can do what other people are doing, but I still feel like I'm playing a role. This is not who I really am. And so we always stay in this limbo of, it doesn't make me happy to be all by myself at home, not having any social interactions at all, but I also don't want to play a role in order to fit in. So what is the solution? Well, this is what we're going to talk about today. How to find the perfect balance where you don't feel lonely anymore, you actually feel connected like you never have before, and at the same time, you don't have to play any games. You don't have to pretend like you like something. You don't have to get over your shyness or, be more outspoken or interact with people the way they would want you to. This is what we're going to get into today.
Hey INFJs, if you ever felt like you're living life on someone else's term, this is for you. My INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp is where we transform overwhelm into aligned action together. It's not just lessons, it's a community, support, life mentorship, and a deep frequency shift into who you were always meant to be. So our next live call is this Saturday, July 26th. So now's the perfect time to join our amazing community of INFJs creating that INFJ Epic Life together. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. We're tapping into INFJ relationships. So join now and let's get your Epic Life started.
If you are in situations where people are telling you or showing you you should be different, you should get over your shyness, you should go out with your friends and socialize in a way that would make you comfortable, like everybody else would be doing. And we're always in this state where we feel like, yeah, I should be doing this, but I don't feel like it. But at the same time, I don't want people to think I'm rude and they would think I'm weird if I again tell them that I don't want to go out with them. And so it's a continuous dilemma that we play out in our mind. And it takes so much bandwidth. It takes up so much mental load. And it really keeps us away from, living that epic life. So when we're talking about you fully embracing your true self, you embracing all of your nature, then it is all about facing all of those uncomfortable feelings. See, I'm not that naive. Like I said this very often, but you have to be aware. I'm not that naive to think, oh, I have fully accepted myself. Like I've reached that. I don't believe anybody ever does that. I wouldn't tell, oh, I'm my true self. I'm completely independent from psychological crutches that make me feel good in the moment. No, we are not aware of the things we're not aware of. So it's impossible to do that. But the point is that we continuously want to grow into this area that, is going to help us out. And if I look at my life where I have been 5 years ago, where I'm now, psychologically, what kind of changes my clients have made, what kind of changes the people in Bootcamp have made, then this is something that is so important to look into, and it's going to change your life dramatically. So first and foremost, ask yourself, what do I not want other people to think of me? Think of your neighbor, think of somebody that you work with, some kind of situations that you try to avoid, where you're walking on eggshells. Those are the important situations to look at. Those are the situations where you're not really embracing yourself. So it might also be when friends continuously ask you, come on, let's go, to the beach, and you don't feel like it. Or you're at a birthday party and people ask you, why do you want to leave after an hour? Or you do want to leave, but you're not doing it because you think people are going to think you're rude or you're weird or you're just different. And as much as we INFJs think we're totally fine with being different, if you still have those feelings of walking in eggshells with certain people, and this can be your family, this can be your friends, coworkers, whatever it may be, then this is the place to start. This is where we haven't fully accepted who we are. We haven't fully embraced our mind-blowing nature. And why am I talking about a mind-blowing nature? Because once you actually accept this, you realize how different it is to the role that you've been playing. Most of the time, we haven't accepted that yet. Because those parts that we haven't accepted are all about maybe being more of a hermit. It might be that it's all about you choosing you in a sense of you don't care what others want to do. Like when I go to a birthday party, if I don't want to stay anymore, I leave. And my friends have just come to terms with that. But that was a choice that I had to make. That you say from now on, when I don't feel like doing something, yes, from time to time I can make compromises, but I'm not going to bend myself in order to, keep the harmony. No. And if people think I'm mean, I'm rude, I'm, a hermit, I'm weird, I'm an outsider, I'm going to let them think that. Because I know that the best thing for me is to gather energy. The more energy I have, the more I can put it into creating the life that I want. That's why one of the pillars that we talk about, in the poster, but mainly in Bootcamp, is physical energy management. Because it's all about removing energy suckers out of our life, people, situations, any kind of dynamics, and also doing things that give us energy. But walking on eggshells or trying to maintain a harmony at the expense of our own well-being, psychological well-being, that is not the way to go. Those things drain your energy like nothing else. So accepting yourself is all about doing all of the things that you're most afraid of. Saying the uncomfortable thing around the person that you've been walking on eggshells for. Leaving when you don't feel like it. And continuously taking steps into making you like yourself. When we like ourselves and when we're proud of what we are doing, we really don't care what other people are thinking about it. We care about this if we don't feel we have achieved that yet, who we want to be and how we want to be. And therefore, we rely on other people's feedback. We rely on them thinking that I'm a good person, that I'm successful, that, I'm special or unique or whatever it may be. But if you prove to yourself that, yeah, you are special because you're doing things that nobody else is doing. If you prove to yourself, yes, I like how I am. I like that I'm this fighter because I'm continuously taking steps to improving my life. I'm not just thinking about it. I'm making it a reality. I'm blowing my own mind with what I can do because I'm breaking glass ceilings that I have put there. And it's a two-way operation, right? On the one hand, you need to remove those things that are draining your energy. So dynamics where you have to walk on eggshells, situations where you say yes, although you mean no. Stuff like that. And at the same time, continuously choosing steps that prove to you that you are that person that you want to be. And these are all based on externally observable facts. It is not enough to have like that mindset thing of, yeah, I know I could do it. Take the steps. Write a chapter for your book. Move to a new city. Make changes that get you out of your comfort zone, that prove to you that you are the person you want to be. Because only then you're not looking left and right in order to do things so people give you a feedback of you're a good person. You know that you are. If you want to prove to yourself, for example, that you're a good person, ask yourself, what would a good person do? And not towards this one person that I want to convince that I'm a good person. What would I do so I think of myself as a good person? How would I contribute? What are the things that I want to embody? And then move forward in that. And if you want to take it a step further, like really ask yourself, okay, what is the worst that people could think of me? That person that I want to impress. What if they thought that I was a complete loser? What if they thought that I'm really mean? What if they thought that, I'm weird or whatever it may be? And really live in that. And then tell yourself, okay, I am focusing on the wrong thing. I'm focusing on how they feel about me. What I need to be focusing on is what I feel about myself. And you will recognize, yes, there are parts of you that you don't like. And it's not about like, oh, I'm not accepting myself. You can accept this is where I am today, but that doesn't mean that you can't change your circumstances, that you can't change the way you live your life. Like I can totally be okay with the fact that this is my life, but I'm taking steps towards where I want to be. What I can't accept though is that this is a life that I don't like and I'm not taking any steps. Most people are not happy with how their life is playing out. So what do? They push it all down. They're not aware of it. And every single person has a different way of doing this. For us, INFJ, this is the typical head in the clouds thing. not accepting reality. That's why I always have this exercise of, what if it never got any better? If you looked at, this is the apartment that I live in, these are the friendship groups that I have, this is the city that I live in, this is the kind of job I have, this is the relationship I have. What if it never got any better? And then you can recognize, no, I wouldn't like that. You have to first accept, of course, this is where it's at. I cannot just always imagine in my mind a better world and then something external will happen that will get me into this better world. No, I have to look at, this is where my life is at. These are the dynamics that I have. And yes, there are parts of it that I don't like, but first I have to accept it. I have to look at them. And then I can take the steps to making them better. And only if you allow yourself to confront yourself with those negative emotions, you can say, now I want to be somebody who wants to improve this. It is a painful process, because if you actually look at your life and you don't have this get out of jail card, which is, oh, I'm just going to dream in my NI world, you recognize, yeah, life is maybe never going to be as great as I want it to be. Of course it can be, but like, that's what it feels like in that moment. You feel like, yeah, it just really sucks. If I, look at this, it's never going to be that great as I would want it to be. But I am personally taking responsibility for making it better. And every single day I'm going to take a step towards that. And that's when you actually start blowing your mind. You see what you're really capable of. You're taking the steps to really embracing all of yourself, knowing that people will judge you, knowing that they will have opinions about it, knowing that of course there are going to be parts of you that people don't like. Because the only way for people to like you all the way, people with different backgrounds, different personality types, all of that, the only way for all of those different people to like you completely is for you to hollow yourself out as much as you possibly can. And this is a default, play by INFJs, but it's not one that makes us happy. It's not something that is healthy either. That's why it's so difficult for so many INFJs to put together, different friendships. Because then one person will see that you are completely different when you're with the other person. But this is not what we want. We want you to embrace a part of you that is not up for debate. A part of you that you like truly, where you accept your shortcomings, but you also accept all of the strengths that you have that are pulling you and pushing you towards the direction that you want in your life. Start with it today. Have an uncomfortable conversation. Choose you. Understand that judgment is going to come and that you're going to be okay with it. I always say, get outside of your comfort zone, but don't overwhelm yourself. This is where the sweet spot is at. We cannot expect transformation. We cannot expect for us to feel more, to actually feel that INFJ epic life, if we're not willing to face all of those uncomfortable feelings that are holding us back from choosing us. It is in the end a choice, but it's easier said than done, because making that choice requires discomfort. And we can take on this discomfort step by step, day by day. And it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I see it with my clients. I see it with all of the students in Bootcamp, that this is something that makes the biggest difference. So embrace your true self more and more. You got this. You do have a mind-blowing nature, and it's worth choosing.
Now's the time. If something in you feels ready, don't wait. Join the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp before our live call on Saturday, July 26th. So you get access to the private community, guided lessons, live mentorship, and lifetime access to all future rounds. This isn't just about learning. It's about stepping into the version of you who already knows they're worth it. Let's do this together. Click the link in the description and join now.
And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ Breaks Egos Without Even Trying.